Start in side control position. This is one of the most common positions that I usually set up north-south. It's a north-south choke because you end up in the north-south position, but most of the times you set it up from either side control or possibly knee on belly and so forth. So we're going to start in our side control position here. From there, what we're going to do next is we're going to take our hand that's underneath his head, his neck, and we're going to put it on the other side. So I take my arm, I put it on the other side of his head, and I bring my hand up as high as possible. Okay, I want to get it up as high as possible so then that way I can already position my hand for the choke. So I have this position. When I do this, I'm going to twist my hip down to my left. The main reason I do this is because I don't want him to be able to turn his face into me. If he can turn his face into me, that's his higher percentage escape. If my hips are up, he can turn his face into me, and then it's going to be a lot harder for me to finish this. So I put my arm underneath, I turn my hip down, right on the side of his face before he's able to turn it. The next thing I do is I start walking my body back, but now I'm in line with him. I'm going to take this arm and I'm going to clear his arm out. I don't want his arm in. You can finish this with the arm in, but in my opinion, it's lower percentage. I want to make sure my bicep is right on his neck. I'm going to walk my shoulders back. Walk, 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 walk. My head is going to go down. This hand is going to grab my wrist. From there, I want you to sink everything. Squeeze your elbows together and then flex your biceps. Okay? I have my position. I have a side control position. Let's say I don't want to finish from here and I just feel really comfortable doing the north-south choke. My head is down. My right arm goes around and back up. My thumb is already curling around his neck. I turn my hip down like this, and then I start walking my body into his head, and I bring my head over here. When I do that, see what I'm doing? I'm sinking. You want to sink everything, like you're part of the ground. From there, I sink. You okay? Yeah, I'm good. I sink, and as you sink more, it gets tighter and tighter on his neck. This hand, lift your wrist, grabs your wrist. Elbows together. When I go to finish, I put my elbows together. I want my head all the way down. I grab my wrist, my head's all the way down, and I walk. I walk. I keep walking. Once I feel like I'm sunk, I squeeze. Okay? Jimmy. I have my position here. My left arm goes around and back up. I'm already curling my thumb. Make sure your shoulders are tight. I walk and I sink. Turn your hip down so you can block his face and sink. You want to sink everything. Shoulder walk backwards, shoulder walk backwards. If his arm is still inside, clear it out. Put your head down, all the way down as much as possible. Grab your wrist, sink your elbows in, so everything's flat, and then squeeze. So I'm here, at my position. Right arm goes under. See how my hand is up? Turn your hip down already. Walk. You want to make sure he turns his face up. If his arm is inside, what I'm going to do is I'm going to clear. I'm going to clear his arm out. Let's say he's trying to keep his arm in. He doesn't want me to get it here. Just take your hand, shoot it in. Now he clears his arm out. So I walk my fingers, and walk your shoulders back. I don't care if he has my head like this. I don't care. He's not going to re-choke me. I have a better position than he does. Grab your wrist. Elbows tight. Head down. All the way down. Walk. And then squeeze. First, when you do this, you want to make sure you turn your hip down. You want to do everything you can to make sure they can't turn their face into you. If they can turn their face into you, it's going to make it a little harder. The plus about this choke is it turns into really good position control. Because you have a lot of control of their head. If they can't turn their head, they're going to have a hard time getting out. So you'll be able to delay them getting out from the bottom. That's where the combination comes in after this. So when you're here and you get this arm under like this, as soon as you go like this, I'm turning my hip down. And then he's going to try to turn his face into me, and then I walk my body into his face. I make him look up. I start walking backwards, and my shoulder, bring your left hand all the way down flat to the ground. My left shoulder dips. See what I'm doing? I walk, and this shoulder dips. Here, when you put your head down, you dip your shoulder into their neck. Then you squeeze. Okay? So you walk back, dip your shoulder, and then you squeeze. So try to make sure that you turn your hip down so they can't turn their face into you, and drive your shoulder down into their neck. All right? Let's